Have you ever stopped to wonder how your favorite Game app just knows what to do? How it makes a choice? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the single most important building block that teaches a computer how to think. Let's jump right in. So, how do they actually do it? I mean, you've got this machine that really only understands ones and zeros. So how does it make a decision as complicated as, say, letting you into your bank account? Or even just telling you that you've passed an exam? Well, you might think it's some super secret, complex process. But honestly, it all boils down to asking one incredibly simple question. And that question can only ever have one of two answers. Is something true or is it false? That's it, a simple yes or no. This little binary choice is the absolute foundation of all decision-making in programming. And in Python, our main tool for asking this question is the if statement. Okay, so what is an if statement? The best way to think of it is like a bouncer at a really exclusive club. It stands in front of a block of your code with a very strict guest list. It checks the condition and only if that condition is true, does it unclip the velvet rope and let the program run the code it's guarding. If the condition is false, nope, you're not on the list, and the program just moves right along. And the best part is the syntax is beautifully simple. It just starts with the keyword if, followed by your condition. That's our big true or false question. And it always ends with a colon. That colon is critical. It's basically you telling Python, hey, pay attention. If this thing I just asked is true, here's what I want you to do next. So, how does Python know which code the bouncer is guarding? Well, here's the secret sauce in Python. It is all about the indentation. That little bit of white space at the start of the line. Any code that's indented right underneath the if statement is the special code that will only run if the condition is true. And let me be clear, this isn't just for making things look pretty. In Python, it's a hard and fast rule. So really, it just boils down to these two parts. First, you've got the condition. That's the question you're asking, the thing that will be either true or false. And second, you've got the action. That's the indented code that gets to run only if the condition is true. The question and the action. That's the whole shebang. All right, enough theory. This stuff really starts to click when you see it work with your own eyes. So let's look at a couple of real-world examples to see how this simple structure powers some pretty cool decisions. First up, let's do a classic scenario, checking exam results. We're going to write a program that can look at a student's score and tell them if they've passed. Okay, here's the code. First, we store the score, 72, in a variable we'll call marks. Then, here comes our bouncer. If marks greater than 50. This is our condition. The program is literally asking, is the number inside the marks variable greater than or equal to 50? If the answer is yes, it'll run that indented code and print a message. So the computer gets to this line and it does the check. It looks inside the marks variable, sees the number 72, and asks itself, is 72 greater than or equal to 50? What do you think? You got it. It's true. So our gatekeeper steps aside and that indented print function gets to run. And boom, the message, you have passed the exam, pops up on the screen. Simple, right? But so powerful. All right, let's try another one, something you probably do 10 times a day. A password check. We need to see if the password a user typed in matches the correct one. Here we go. We've got a variable called password. Now look really closely at the condition. If password equals Python123. See that? 2 equal signs. This is super important, and it trips up almost everyone at first. A single equal sign assigns a value, but a double equal sign compares two values. It's asking, are these two things exactly the same? Just remember, 1 equals to set, 2 equals to check. So once again, the computer gets to work. It compares the value that's stored in our password variable to the string of text Python123. Are they an exact match? Yes, they are. The condition is true, so our program prints access granted. And just like that, you now understand the core logic behind every single login screen you have ever used. Pretty cool, huh? Now, that double equal sign is just one of the tools in our toolbox. We've actually got a whole set of them. We can check for equality or inequality with that little exclamation mark. We can check if a number is greater than, less than, or greater than or equal to another. These operators are the heart and soul of every if statement's condition. So to wrap it all up, let's just lock in the 3 most important rules. 1, if statements control the flow of your program. They decide which path to take. 2, They use those comparison operators we just saw to ask a true or false question. And 3, and I'm going to say it one more time, indentation is not optional in Python. It's mandatory. It is how your program understands what you want it to do. And that's it. You now hold the key to making programs intelligent. You can now write code that reacts, that responds, and that makes decisions all on its own. So the only question left is, what are you going to build first? What's the first decision you're going to teach your code to make?